Welcome to Story Weaver. In the heart of an enchanted forest, there lived two best friends, named Lily and Rose. They were brave and curious, and loved to explore the secrets of the forest. One day, as they were wandering through the dense trees, they stumbled upon a wicked witch who had cast a spell over the forest, causing all the creatures to lose their colors and live in fear. The witch was known to be cruel and selfish, and nobody dared to challenge her power. Lily and Rose, however, were determined to break the spell and restore the colors of the forest. As they approached the witch, they noticed that she was muttering to herself. "I'll show them all," the witch cackled. "I'll show them the power of my magic and they'll bow down to me." Lily stepped forward and bravely confronted the witch. "Excuse me, but why have you cast this spell over the forest?" she asked. The witch scowled at Lily and replied, "Why should I tell you, little girl? I have the power, and I'll do as I please." Rose, who was always more cunning, then spoke up. "We don't mean to cause any trouble, but we have come to ask for your help." The witch raised an eyebrow in surprise. "My help? What could you possibly need from me?" "We have heard that you are the only one who can break the spell that you have cast," said Rose. The witch considered this for a moment and then cackled again. "Very well, I will help you, but only if you bring me the rarest flower that grows in this forest." Lily and Rose looked at each other, determined to find the flower and break the spell. They set out into the heart of the forest, with the witch's cackles echoing behind them. Lily and Rose searched high and low in the forest, determined to find the rarest flower that the witch had requested. They encountered many obstacles along the way, from thorns that seemed to reach out to grab them to streams that sparkled with dangerous-looking creatures. Finally, after hours of searching, they found the flower, a delicate blossom with petals of the purest white. They plucked it with care and made their way back to the witch. However, when they returned, they found that the witch was gone and in her place was a handsome prince. The prince explained that the witch had been under a spell herself, one that had made her cruel and selfish. The flower that Lily and Rose had found was the key to breaking the spell and freeing the prince from his enchanted form. Overjoyed, the prince thanked Lily and Rose and offered to help them break the spell over the forest. Together, they went to the heart of the forest, where the prince used his magic to create a beautiful rainbow that lit up the sky and spread the colors of the forest once again. As they walked back to their village, the prince talked with Lily and Rose about their adventures and shared his own stories with them. The three of them became fast friends and vowed to protect the enchanted forest from harm. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, and Lily and Rose continued to visit the prince, who had taken up residence in a castle deep in the forest. They would often go on adventures together and explore the secrets of the forest. But one day, as they were sitting by a stream, the prince suddenly grew serious. "Lily and Rose, I must leave this forest," he said. "The spell that was cast on me can only be broken for so long, and I must return to my kingdom before it takes hold again." Lily and Rose were saddened to hear this news, but they understood. They hugged the prince goodbye and promised to visit him as often as they could. The prince disappeared into the forest, and though Lily and Rose searched for him for days, he was never seen again. But they never forgot the lessons he had taught them, and they continued to protect the enchanted forest and its creatures, just as the prince had done. Years passed and Lily and Rose grew up to be wise and strong young women, known throughout the forest for their bravery and kindness. They continued to explore the forest, always on the lookout for adventure and ways to help others. One day, as they were walking through the forest, they heard a loud noise coming from the direction of the prince's old castle. They rushed to see what was going on, and when they arrived, they found that the castle was under attack from a band of evil trolls. The trolls had heard of the prince's kindness and bravery, and they saw him as a threat to their rule over the forest. They had come to destroy him and the castle, hoping to put an end to his influence once and for all. Lily and Rose didn't hesitate. They drew their swords and charged into battle, determined to protect the prince and his legacy. The battle was fierce, and the trolls proved to be formidable foes. But Lily and Rose fought with all their might, their swords flashing in the sunlight as they parried and thrust. Just when it seemed that all hope was lost, a figure emerged from the castle. It was the prince, and he was not alone. Behind him stood an army of creatures from the forest, from tiny fairies to massive beasts. They had come to help defend the prince and the castle, inspired by his bravery and kindness. Together, Lily, Rose, and the prince led the charge against the trolls, and the battle raged on. The battle between Lily, Rose, and the prince's forces against the trolls was intense and lasted for hours. The trolls were brutal and relentless, but Lily and Rose stood their ground, dodging and weaving as they fought. The prince used his magic to create a shield that protected the castle, but the trolls were able to break through it. The prince then used his magic to summon bolts of lightning that struck the trolls, sending them flying back. However, the trolls were not easily defeated, and they continued to attack, their clubs and axes slamming against the prince's shield. Lily and Rose were in the thick of the fight, their swords flashing as they hacked and slashed at the trolls. The prince used his magic to create a wall of fire that kept the trolls at bay, but the trolls were relentless, and they continued to attack. Just when it seemed that the prince's shield would break and the trolls would overrun the castle, the prince summoned a massive wave that swept the trolls away, leaving them dazed and disoriented. With the trolls weakened, Lily and Rose were able to finish them off, their swords moving in perfect harmony as they battled their way through the enemy lines. The prince then used his magic to restore the castle, and the creatures of the forest cheered as they saw their home restored to its former glory. With the trolls defeated and the castle safe, the prince, Lily, and Rose were able to rest, their bodies exhausted but their spirits lifted by their victory. With the trolls defeated, the prince thanked Lily and Rose for their bravery and the support of the creatures of the forest. He then turned to the castle, which had been badly damaged in the battle, and with a wave of his hand, he restored it to its former glory. And so, the prince stayed in the forest, ruling over it with kindness and fairness, always protected by Lily and Rose and the creatures of the forest. The Enchanted Forest became a place of peace and prosperity, where all creatures lived in harmony, and the prince's legacy lived on, inspiring generations to come to defend the Enchanted Forest and all its creatures against any threat.